I know there are a ton of people who not only want to know how to write a book, but they want to write their book faster than what they think they can write their book in. If you've not tuned into the last video where I go over my 7-step process on helping you write a book for your business, go ahead and watch that video. But this video is for the ones who actually want to write their book faster than the 3 months that I suggested to write and publish your book. As a matter of fact, you can get your first book written in the matter of a weekend, and I'm going to go through and help you do that. My name is Nachole Johnson of Renursing EDU, where we help nurses make moves in their professional careers. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to get your book written in a weekend. So this is your first draft, mind you. This is not ready to actually go on and be completely published, but you'll at least have that first draft done in at least a weekend, and you can move on with the publishing process and get your book out a whole lot faster than you expected. The key to writing your book and getting your first draft out in a weekend is repurposing your content. I am the master of repurposing content, and especially for my books. I'll give you a few examples. So you may know that I write books to help nurse practitioners pass their board exams. And I actually wrote a series of books on that same topic. That series of books was the master repurposer of what I repurposed my books into, if that makes any sense. So that series of books actually turned into that textbook that you see behind me. In addition to writing those books, I also repurposed them into apps that are available on the Apple and Google Play Store. Those books have also been repurposed into other materials that help nurse practitioner students and new nurse practitioners in their clinical practice, like my NP clinical cheat sheet and my NP H&P journal. So all of those products have been repurposed from my initial book. You can do the same if you have a book that you can repurpose. If you don't have a book that you can't repurpose, don't worry about it. You can repurpose other materials. If you're in business already and you've been making marketing materials for your business, you have plenty of content to repurpose. One of which are blog posts. Blog posts are great because you're simply writing about your topic of expertise, and you can take those blog posts and repurpose them into books. Another thing is you can take your podcast episodes or you can take your YouTube videos and you can also repurpose those into written format so you can have books. Okay, I know it sounds simple and it really, really, really is if you have the right tools to do everything. So the first thing is you want to make sure you're writing your book to bring people into your business. So this is going to be a nonfiction book. If you're not aware of the differences in types of books and what you're writing your book for, go back to my last video and I explain everything as far as nonfiction books and as far as page count and word count and things of that nature. So don't worry about any of that. Just watch that other video, okay? So when we are talking about repurposing content, it's basically taking that outline that you made and putting your blog posts or your YouTube video script and your podcast script, putting them in those certain areas. But it's not as easy as copying and pasting your blog post and putting it into a section of your outline. Basically, yes, it is a whole lot easier to repurpose, but you're going to have to meld and weave some things in, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But firstly, let's figure out if you have blog posts, that's great because that's already in text format. You can take stock of what you have, organize your documents, see what blog posts you actually want to include in your book. Make sure you have everything organized before you get started. It'll make things go a whole lot quicker. If you are like me and you do a lot of audio, so via YouTube or podcasting, you can also transcribe those transcripts into words And the software that I like to use for that is called Descript. So Descript starts out as a free plan, and you can get, I believe, up to 3 hours of transcription, which is awesome, which is a lot. So you can take your old YouTube videos, or you can take your old podcasts and put them in this software, and it will transcribe them into words, which makes things so much easier when you're looking to repurpose that content. So gather up all your blog posts, your YouTube videos, your podcast interviews, anything that is on the topic of what your book is about, and gather it up and kind of organize where you want this. So I talked about outlines in the last video. Go refer back to that last video. When I talk about outlines, you're going to have to still outline, but this way you are putting whatever content you have in those particular areas. Now, when I said earlier that you're going to have to weave this content in, you are going to have to weave the content in. Because if you're adding blog post number 1 plus blog post number 2 or 3 or whatever, it's just not going to fit because they're brand new blog posts. Each one has a new introduction and body and conclusion and everything. You're going to have to weave this information in. This doesn't take that long. It's basically just having the paragraphs of what you need and making transition paragraphs, deleting some paragraphs, making things make sense. So when I wrote my textbook, and I say wrote, I use that term loosely because yes, it was repurposed content from my smaller book series, but it took a lot of weaving content in simply because I had repetition between some of the books. So for instance, like if you are talking about pediatric subject matters, a lot of that is going to be duplicate from something else. So in the pediatric section, I spoke about asthma. Also in the pulmonary book, I spoke about asthma. So it wouldn't make sense when I put them together to have 2 different sections on asthma. So I had to weave everything together as a complete book to make sure everything flowed correctly. And you're going to have to do this if you're going to repurpose your content. But like I said, this is going to save you so much time versus you having to sit down and write every little thing. You are going to have to do some type of writing, like I said, transitions and everything else like that, but it's nothing like actually writing from scratch. This is going to help you so much. So after you put all that together and you weave everything together and make it actually make sense, then that's when you continue on with the other steps that I outlined in my last video. So after that, everything is really simple. So you've written that first draft, you sit on it for a little bit, come back to it, get it formatted, get it edited, get it formatted, you get your book cover done, and then you move on to publishing. So that is my video on how to get things done faster and how you can repurpose the content that you already have into a book. So stay tuned for other videos to help you write your book and to help you get your book published for your business. And actually, I'm going to walk you through step by step on publishing your book once you get to that step. So in the meantime, if you want more information on how to repurpose your book and how to organize things, I have a planner to help you repurpose your content into your book this weekend. So you can grab that. I'll drop the link down below. But in the meantime, please subscribe to Renursing EDU to stay tuned if you want to know about the other videos that are coming out in this Writing a Book series. So I'll see you on the next video.